Hey everyone, so today you just need a rolled up blanket, or you can use a duvet or maybe a sleeping bag, but a blanket is best if you have one. And we're going to start off in lying with our knees just over the blanket. We're going to start with some relaxed breathing as usual to just relax your nervous system and get rid of any tension around your torso and your spine. So placing your hands on your belly, your legs are completely relaxed. So you're thinking about letting go of tension around your pelvis and your hips. And as you breathe in, notice the lower rib cage expand. And as you breathe out, notice it recoil or soften back. And you're just going to go for 5 breaths here. Then slowly bringing your knees into your chest, placing your hands on your knees, and then just doing a circle 5 clockwise, and then you can do 5 anti-clockwise. Just starting to loosen up your lower back, hips, pelvis, and change direction. And then placing your left foot out long, you can rest on the blanket. Take a hold of your right knee, point the toes, straighten the leg up towards the ceiling, and then let it fold back down. If this is too much of a stretch for you, you can have the leg a little bit lower. And you don't have to straighten the knee fully. Then point the toes, straighten the leg, pull the toes down towards your head for a stronger stretch, and bend. Point the toe, straighten, bend the foot, lower. Point the foot, straighten, bend the foot, lower, and just 2 more. Point, straighten, bend, bend. Let that right leg relax, and same thing with the other leg. So holding your thigh, remember the knee doesn't need to straighten, toes point, straighten the leg, foot towards the head, bend the leg. Point the foot, straighten, bend the foot, bend the knee. And you're just going to go for 4 more of these. Notice if there's a difference between sides. So is one side tighter than the other? Do you feel in your hamstrings or your calves more? You shouldn't feel anything in your back. And last round. Getting into a little bit of work for our hamstrings now. We're going to make sure our rolled blanket is towards the end of the mat. The further away it is, the harder this is. So you're going to have your feet on the blanket. Your feet are going to be close together. You want to push down through your feet into that uneven surface of the blanket and lift your hips. We should feel your hamstring muscles, the muscles at the back of your thigh starting to turn on, and then you're going to lower the hips. Press into the feet to lift. Feel the hamstrings work. Stay up here for a breath in at least, and breathe out to lower down. Your hips are opening as you lift. Think about the bum pushing it up. And then your hips are folding as you lower down. Think about your butt and the muscles at the back of your hip relaxing and letting go. We're going to go for 4 more of these, so 8 in total. Last 3. Last 2. Last 1, and hold up at the top. These are too much, you always just get rid of the blanket and bring your feet closer to your butt, so do what suits you. Notice if one hamstring is working more than the other, and if you do feel, for example, I feel the right side more, I'm going to lift my hips a little higher and really focus on pushing into the left leg to make that side work as well. And then lower the hips to come down. You're going to come up into a sitting position and place your rolled blanket towards the top of the mat. You're going to have it so as if you were to lie down, your shoulder blades would touch the blanket. So we're going to have our knees bent, our toes pulled towards us, and our hands forward. We're going to think about making a nice C curve with our spine. So chin to the chest, breastbone moves back, and we're curling down. So starting with your pelvis, curling your lower back towards the ground until those shoulder blades touch the blanket, and then you're curling back up. And then coming up into sitting tall if you can. So curling down. If you're quite flexible, you can have your legs straight, but definitely if you're a little bit tight around your hips or your hamstrings, keep the knees nice and bent. This is number 3. We're going to go for 8 in total. Curling chin to the chest, breastbone moves back towards that blanket. What you should feel here is your tummy muscles working. And last 3. If you need to, you can have your hands on your thighs, so that's a little modification. You can keep the hands on the legs the whole time. Sitting up tall after each round. So you're curling or flexing the spine. You're using your abs to bring yourself back up and then coming back up to a nice long spine. Perfect. Now grab your blanket and back down to do 8 more of your hamstring curls. So lying on your back, press your feet. You can have your feet a little bit of space between them. It does make it easier, or else feet really close together. Press down through the feet, lift the hips, and then fold the hips to lower. And keep it going. You got 6 more to go. If you want to make it harder, you're going to have the blanket further away. And if you want to make it easier, take your feet off the blanket and bring your heels closer towards your butt. Last 3. Last 2, notice that both sides are working equally. If one side is not turning on, really focus on pushing into that leg. And last one, you're going to lift up and stay up. 2 more breaths here, pressing into the feet, lifting the hips a little higher if you can. Folding at the hips to lower down, rolling to your side to come up into sitting. Take your blanket and pop it to the top of the mat for 1 more round of your curl downs. Now if you want to make it easier, you really just have the blanket closer to you. So when you curl back, it hits below your shoulder blades. So again, the further away you are, the harder it is. Knees bent, toes towards your head, arms forward or hands on your legs. Chin to the chest, start to curl the spine and start to round down. Use your tummy muscles to take you back up. If you want, you can reach the arms overhead at the top this time. We've got 7 more to go. So arms down, close to your legs. They can be touching if you want. And then as you come up, arms up. Curling back. Chin to the chest, really using your abdominal muscles as you come up. And they should turn on naturally. I don't want you trying to brace or squeeze them too much. You can think about your breastbone being drawn towards your pubic bone to help engage your abdominals. Last 3. Last 2. Notice if you can feel one side of your tummy working a little bit harder than the other. And if you do, think about pressing down into that leg. And maybe use the hand on that side to support you a little bit more, to encourage that side to work. And last one. Reaching the arms all the way up. Have your feet flat. And if it's comfortable for you, just fold forward over your legs. If you're flexible and you want a little bit more of a stretch, you can have the legs straight. Otherwise, just keep them bent. You're taking 4 breaths here. Letting your body relax again, and especially in this position, think about your breath going into the back of your rib cage. So when you breathe in, feel the back of your rib cage expand, open up. And when you breathe out, just let your upper body relax and be supported by your legs. And when you've come out of that, we're going to place your rolled up blanket lengthways in the center of your mat. We're going to start with some upper body and then change to lower body. So we're going to start with shoulders and then move to glutes. Bring your hands underneath your shoulders. Your breastbone should be over the top edge of the blanket. Now there's two options here. We're going to do a push-up. Make sure your hands are under your shoulders. You can bring them back a little bit more if you need to. As you bend your elbows, let them go out to about 45 degrees and then press back up. So if you're new to doing push-ups, the blanket underneath you reduces your range of motion and gives you a little bit of support where the movement is hardest. Now if you're not new to push-ups, or if you're used to doing the ones on your knees and you want to make it a little bit harder, both feet out, feet nice and wide, and down you go. Making sure your head stays in line with your spine. Now we're going for 4 more, so 8 to 10 in total. Press through all the fingers as you push up, and this will help to activate the muscles around your shoulder blade. Last 2. Last 1. Bring yourself back into a child's pose. You can rest your head on the blanket, or you can pull the blanket in close to you. And just 3 breaths here. Then press your blanket forward again. You're going to lie your torso on the blanket this time. We're going to have your elbows under your shoulders. So you're almost in a little Sphinx pose from yoga. Bend your left knee to 90 degrees so the sole of your foot is looking up towards the ceiling. Think about your shoulder blades sliding down your spine, and think about length through your spine so you're not collapsed onto the blanket. You're going to engage your left glute and lift the left thigh off the ground and then lower back down. So you're turning on your left butt muscles to lift the leg. Now you can keep your hands in this position, but you're turning on your glute. And think about pushing the heel up towards the ceiling and lower back down. Pressing into the hands to give you a nice stable base, and pressing into the right leg. And we're going to go for 8 on each side, so you got about 4 more left on this guy. So a really nice exercise for waking up some lazy glutes. And sometimes they're lazy just because our back is tight and it's taking over. Cool, and then swap to the right leg. So a mixture of stretching, like your sciatic nerve and the knee hook stretches, plus some glute activation exercises can be the best combination. And again, you're going for 8 of these guys. So make sure your leg stays in line with your hip and it doesn't go out to the side. That's what some of them will try to do if you're using different muscles. Last 3. Cool, and then you're going to be on your knees or in your full push-up, whichever one you prefer. Hands go underneath your shoulders. Your index finger should be pointing to the top of the mat. Your shoulders are away from your ears. And it feels like at the start, like your arms are wrapping in towards your body. Then the elbows bend, go out to about 45 degrees, and press back up. And you're here for 8 in total. So last 6. Last 3. If you get tired in the full ones, just lower down. Last 2, we'll keep going. And last 1. Bring yourself back into your child's pose. Pull the blanket in between your knees and allow your torso to rest on the blanket. Take in 4 breaths here. Breathing in, feel the back of the rib cage open up and expand. And as you breathe out, allow your torso to just relax and soften into the blanket. Then bring in the blanket forward. Last round of your glute exercise. Elbows are under your shoulders. You're thinking about length through your spine and shoulders away from your ears. So you've got a nice base to start with. Your feet are in line with your hips so they're not out wide. Bend the left knee, sole of the foot looks up to the ceiling. Engage your left bum. Lift the left leg. Keep it going, keep your hands where they are. All the movement should be coming from your hip joint, not into your back. So keep pressing the hands down into the ground, almost like you're trying to pull back. And that will help engage your lat muscles down the side of your torso. And last 4. Last 3. Last 2. And your final one. Swap to the other leg, bend the right knee, sole of the foot towards the ceiling, pressing down into the mat, almost like you're trying to pull your arms back by your sides, and off you go. And last 4. You should feel your right butt muscles start to turn on and engage. If you can't, you can hold up there for a few seconds and then lower down a little bit slower to help wake them up. Cool. Press back into a brief child's pose with the hands stretching forward, so it's quite an active child's pose. And then bring yourself forward onto all 4s, and we're going to move the blanket towards the top. In all 4s, hands under your shoulders, knees under your hips. A breath in takes you into a cow pose, so the head up and the tail up. And a breath out round your spine into a cat pose. Go at the pace of your breath. Inhaling, head up, tail up. Exhaling, head down, tail down. And just 4 more rounds of this simple movement. And just notice if anywhere holds a little bit of tension around your spine. Our last exercise on the floor is a core exercise, and it's to work our obliques and our shoulder muscles, so our abs along the sides and our shoulder blade muscles. You're going to be quite close to the blanket, so fingertips quite close. You're going to be in a modified plank position, so your knees are down. If you want to make it harder, you do this in a full plank position with the feet wide. And then from here, you're going to transfer the weight into your left arm, keep a slight bend in that left elbow, walk your right hand up onto the blanket. Transfer the weight to the right arm, left hand moves up. Weight back to the left arm, right arm down, weight into the right arm, left arm down. We're going to repeat this twice more. So shift the weight to the left arm, take the right arm up, shift the weight to the right arm, left arm up. Weight to the left arm, right arm down, weight to the right arm, left arm down. Last round, weight to the left hand, right hand up, weight to the right hand, left hand up. Weight to the left hand, right hand moves down. The slower you move it, the harder it is on your stabilizing muscles. Weight to the right arm, left arm down. I'm swapping the way we move the arms. So put your weight into the right arm, left arm up, weight to the left arm, right arm up. Weight to the right arm, left arm down, weight to the left arm, right arm down. Back to the right, move the left. Weight in the left, move the right. Weight in the right, move the left down. Weight in the left, move the right down. Last round. Weight in the right arm, lift the left. weight in the left arm, lift the right. Weight in the right, move the left down, weight in the left, move the right down. Bring yourself back into a child's pose, your hands stay reaching forward, your knees stay tight together. 2 breaths here. And then think about that cat pose. You're rounding your spine as you come forward. You're going to look up into your cow pose. And then you're going to come to neutral as you walk your hands forward again, close to the blanket for 1 more round. Now, if you would like to, I would say feet wide and go up into your full plank. But if you're not comfortable and the first round was challenging enough, keep the legs down, knees together. Knees wider if you want to make it easier. Cool, so we're going to do 3 of each. So weight in the left arm, right hand moves up. Weight in the right arm, left arm moves up. Weight in the left arm, right hand down. Weight in the right arm, left hand down. Weight in the left, up with the right. Weight in the right, up with the left. Weight in the left, down with the right. Weight in the right, down with the left. If you get tired, knees down. Weight in the left, up with the right. Weight in the right, up with the left. Weight in the left, down with the right. Weight in the right, down with the left. And then changing the way that you were doing it, if you can remember. I think I might have got a bit muddled. So weight in the right, up with the left. Weight in the left, up with the right. Weight in the right, down with the left. Weight in the left, down with the right. Weight to the right, off you go again. You got 2 more rounds. And you're just alternating which hand you put the weight in. Last round. Back into a child's pose. You're almost done. 3 breaths here. Then bring yourself forward, tuck your toes underneath, and from here we're going to walk our feet forward, or you can walk your hands back, so whatever feels easier for you. We're going to come into a forward fold, whichever one. Let your head dangle, your shoulders roll down. Press through your feet and start to round all the way back up. Your hands will start to move across to your chest, all the way overhead. And as you breathe out, bring your hands back down across your chest, nod your chin to your chest and fold forward. Last one, pressing through the feet to come all the way up. Hands in front of your chest, they reach all the way overhead. And then hands down, and you're going to step forward and come in front of your rolled up blanket for your last exercise. So a little bit of balance and a little bit of quads, because we did a lot on your glute and your hamstrings. So just balancing out the legs. So this one will use our little foot muscles, our calf muscles, and our quads at the front a little bit more. So you're going to have your heels on the blanket. Make sure it's on a non-slip surface, like a yoga mat, or it's against the back of the sofa even. And then when you're here, we're going to keep our knees in line with our hips, so they're not going to point out to the sides, they're going to point straight ahead. Sit down into an imaginary chair. Keep your torso quite upright if you can, and really focus on pressing down through the ball of your foot. So think about pressing through the knuckle of the big toe all the way across to the knuckle of the little toe on both legs. Sink a little lower if you can. Imagine there is a soccer ball or a football in between your knees and you're squeezing the soccer ball. What we want to feel turn on are the muscles at the front of your leg. Now when they're on, push down through the balls of the feet and come back up into standing, and then down you go again. Hands reach forward to help you balance. Press through the balls of the feet to come up into standing, and down you go again. If you need to stay down here to let the muscles turn on for a few seconds, do, and then press back up. We've got 3 done, we're going to do 9 more. Down you go as low as you can comfortably go. Really push through the balls of the feet. The heels aren't doing any work. You're not pressing through the heels on this one. Squeezing that soccer ball between your knees. Last 6. 5. holding at the hips and the knees, heels stay elevated. Last 3. Last 2, you're going to hold down, holding it here, squeezing the ball between your knees. Your torso is quite upright. 2 more breaths here. Press through the feet to come up, and your last one, you'll be holding again, down you go. Squeeze the soccer ball between your knees, keep your torso quite upright, shoulders relaxed. Press down through the feet, give your feet a little shake out. Have a step forward, feet almost as wide as your mat, and then just start to rotate so that the arms twist from side to side. And your arms will be kind of your momentum to twist, so with as little effort as possible, you're starting to turn your body left and right. Allow your feet, your knees, and your hips and your pelvis to join in the rotation a little bit. Nothing stays locked to the ground. And just going here for another 5. If your swinging gets more, that's fine. The arms can come up a little bit higher. Then bring your feet back underneath your hips. A soft bend in the knees. Nod your chin to your chest. Allow your shoulders to round forward. And let your spine curl down towards the ground. Your knees can be as bent as they need to be. Don't keep them super straight. Take 2 breaths here. Notice any tension in your back or in the backs of the legs. Or notice if it feels better after doing a little bit of exercise over the last few days. On a breath out, push down through your feet and start to curl back up. When you get to the top, think about the breastbone looking straight ahead, the collarbones open wide, shoulders roll outwards, and your gaze is straight ahead. And then let it all chill out. You're all done.